This is called Samogon, and this spirit is a little like grappa, okay? See, Samogon is basically Russian hooch, except that the word hooch is really misleading. But if it's hooch, it's because it's often, in fact almost always, been homemade, just as moonshine or grappa were homemade in the past. But unlike homemade hooch in the US or old school grappa, it's actually good, okay? You see, for the last half century off and on, people made this without fear of the revenuermen. I mean, it was okay to bake your own, you know? So everybody's grandma or grandpa did it, and it was cool. It was legal, at least most of the time, and some people got really good at it.
In Eastern European villages, Samogon was produced in almost every single house. People even used to call it village currency because it was often more willingly accepted as payment for services rather than money. Samogon can be produced pretty much of anything: grapes, potatoes, sugar beets, grains, you name it. But most Russians will agree that the best Samogon is produced of grapes, like our Samogon.
And one guy who's always been particularly good at it is Vladimir Stepanovich. He was the master distiller for one of the largest Russian distillers for almost a half century, and his Samogon was good. So we had him put some in a bottle for us. It's not vodka, it's not grappa, it's Samogon, or Samohonka, I think that's what some people call it. And there's some other names and even a few songs about this stuff, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Samogon has many names. It's called Gorilka in Ukraine, which means burning spirit, Spotykach, which means a person who stumbles all the time, or Chlebное vino, which means bread wine, and many other names.
Nice. Well, what's different about this from moonshine or from grappa is that the old products were made from somebody's leftovers. Old beer, moldy grain, once used grapes. Heck, for the last half century, most US moonshine has been made out of sugar and little else. Look, sugar's okay in your coffee, but you don't want it as the basis for quality distillation. Not unless you're using a sugar product that has some flavor, like molasses. And though grappa has improved enormously in the last few decades, it's still very different from Samogon. Grappa is made from the leftover grape skins, left over when somebody's used them to make wine. The Samogon is made from grapes, from the juice of those grapes, from the wine you make out of the juice of those grapes. It's softer and it's smoother. And isn't that kind of what you wanted your vodka to be all along?